Finally, we address the chronic highway trust fund shortfall in a meaningful way for the first time in more than 30 years. The Congressional Budget Office projects a $142 billion cumulative shortfall in the highway trust fund over the 5-year period following the expiration of the current authorization. So put simply, the system for funding our federal surface transportation programs is broken. And our recommendation is to implement a $250 annual fee on electric vehicles and a $100 annual fee on hybrid vehicles and deposit all of those collections in the Highway Trust Fund. For too long, EVs operated on our nation's roads without paying into the system, which is primarily funded by federal taxes on gasoline and diesel. Plain and simple, this is a fairness issue. And it's time these roadway users directly pay into the system that supports the very highways that they drive on.
So what's going on here? Well, the one big beautiful bill includes provisions in it that assess an electric vehicle registration fee. That passed, it's out of the House, it's going into the Senate, and the Senate will take it up. Maybe they'll keep it, maybe they won't. But why is this unique? The transportation infrastructure is funded through gasoline taxes that go into what's called the Highway Trust Fund. And for decades, there really hasn't been any kind of increase of revenue. And so for the first time in many years, Congress taking up legislation that would bring in new revenue to the Highway Trust Fund is unique. And we'll see if it makes it through the Senate, and we'll see if the president signs it. First of all, I don't think there's that many electric vehicles on the road. I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference in the Highways Trust Fund, but it's a good signal that someone's trying to do something to capture more revenue into the Highway Trust Fund, recognizing that generally speaking, electric vehicles are driving on the roads but not paying a gas tax. Yeah, that's newsworthy, and it's certainly worthy of remark. I think that electric vehicles, they're big in California, but really nowhere else, and they really struggle in, I think, cold weather areas. And overall, this is all part of a conversation about transportation funding. People see electric vehicles and more fuel-efficient vehicles like hybrids reducing the ability of the Highway Trust Fund to pay for transportation. Now, revenues into the Highway Trust Fund, they're always up, right? They go up, but it's really about the purchasing power of those revenues, because does it outpace inflation? And generally, it hasn't. And so it's the purchasing power of the Highway Trust Fund that gets eroded over time. Also, the Highway Trust Fund funds mass transit. I think that's maybe out of 18 cents or 10 to 12 cents out of the gallon goes to the mass transit fund. People have been talking, organizations have been talking for many years about, revenue sources to pay for infrastructure. This is part of the, user fee model that infrastructure generally works on, that if you're going to be using the infrastructure, you should be paying for it. And there's been this gap with electric vehicles. So, but in the same bill, you're really seeing, call it a scaling back of the electrification policies. We are seeing California's electric vehicle mandate get rescinded. And that was actually a separate bill, but that was Republicans and Democrats in the House of Representatives, and Republicans and Democrats in the U.S. Senate voted to use the Congressional Review Act to repeal California's EV mandate. Now, there's some controversy over that because usually the Congressional Review Act is for rules, and California's EV mandate is a waiver. Overall, I think that the bipartisan, bicameral votes on this issue do point to how unpopular the electric vehicle mandate has been in the state of California. It was enacted, about 5 years ago. And certainly in California, there's been a huge uptick in electric vehicle purchases. But you're not seeing anywhere of the market saturation that they were hoping or planning for. And so this is all just part of this ever-evolving conversation about electric vehicles, how funding plays a role, and how we continue to invest in our transportation infrastructure.